Locksmiths may not want you to know this. When a lock is broken or has lost its key, most people think the only options are to call a locksmith, cut it off, or buy a new one. But today, I will try to save these two locks by making a completely new key right at home. No expensive tools needed. No need to break or replace the lock. Don't look away because the final test will show whether this homemade key can actually be used or not. Before starting, remember to only do this with your own lock, or when you have permission to repair it. I will make use of an old saw blade. The steel from the saw blade is fairly thin, hard and flat enough to try making a key blank. Align the mark with the length of the keyway. The unnecessary saw teeth will be cut off to keep a flatter piece of metal. Cut slowly in short sections so it is easier to control and helps prevent the blank from bending too much. After cutting, this piece of steel will become the first blank for making the key. Now grind the blank completely flat. This step determines the accuracy of the key. If the blank is still bent too thick or has leftover saw teeth, it will not go into the lock smoothly. Grind each edge, slowly check it continuously. Each time remove only a very thin layer. Insert the blank into the lock to measure the size. Then, mark according to the pinpoints on the lock. These marks will help identify the exact positions where the teeth need to be made. If the marking points are off, the key will be very hard to match with the mechanism inside. Start creating each key tooth. Grind the grooves according to the marked points little by little without rushing. Every grinding line must be very precise. Just a small mistake and the key will not be able to open the lock. Do not grind too deep right from the beginning because the metal that has been removed is almost impossible to add back. Keep the grinding angle steady because even one tilted groove can make the key turn unevenly. This is the step that requires the most patience. If you have ever tried repairing an old lock at home, comment below and let me know whether that method worked. After creating the teeth, use sandpaper to smooth all sharp edges and burrs. Small pieces of metal left behind can make the key get stuck or scratch the inside of the lock. Use your fingertip to very gently check around the edge of the blank. If it still feels sharp, keep smoothing it a little more. Prepare one more small support tool. Cut a short piece of round aluminum. Use pliers to bend the end of the aluminum rod at a right angle. Place the bent end on a hard surface and flatten it slowly. When hammering, hold the aluminum rod steady so the end does not shift to one side. Add a layer of heat shrink tubing to the grip area. This covering makes it easier to hold, better looking and less slippery while testing the lock. When heating the heat shrink tubing, heat it only enough for the tubing to tighten. Do not keep the heat on too long or the covering may burn. Now comes the most suspenseful moment. Can the key we just made open the lock? Insert the key into the lock, push it all the way in, then turn it very slowly. And surprisingly, the lock opens. That shows the thickness. The teeth and the length of the key have matched this lock. At first, the lock feels a little stiff. I adjust the angle of my hand slightly, keep the pressure more, even then, turn it a little more. This is the first result, but the video is not over yet, because the second lock is even more interesting. This key has broken. If we only use superglue to attach the two pieces back together, the structure will not be strong enough. When turning it inside the lock, the twisting force can make it break again right away. So this key is almost unusable now. Now, I will try to recreate it in a different way. Stick tape onto a flat piece of wood. I will use it as a base to create a mold and cast the key again. The tape layer helps the mold separate more easily after the glue dries. Place the broken key in the correct position. Apply hot glue to capture the exact shape of the key. Try to cover the body and the teeth evenly. Wait for the glue to dry completely before removing it. While waiting, I will sharpen a pencil to get the graphite core inside. Grind the pencil core into very fine carbon powder. The finer the powder is, the easier it will fill the small details in the mold when mixed with glue. Grind slowly on sandpaper and gather the powder into a small pile so it will be easier to pour into the mold. When the mold is dry, remove the key from the mold very slowly. Do not pull hard because the tooth area in the mold can deform very easily. Now, pour the carbon powder into the mold. Spread the powder evenly into each small groove, especially around the key teeth. Apply super glue onto the surface so the carbon powder bonds together. Add it slowly. Do not pour too much at once because the glue can overflow and blur the tooth details. Use a flat object to press evenly across the surface, helping the mixture pack into the mold better and become flatter. The carbon powder forms the core, while the super glue helps lock the shape in place after it dries. But the important question is, will this key be strong enough for real use? Wait about 30 minutes for the mixture to fully harden. After it dries, use a knife to cut the hot glue mold. Separate small sections around the edge of the mold to remove the key blank that has formed inside. At this point, the blank is still rough. The surface is not flat, and there are many excess burrs. Place the blank on sandpaper Then sand it so the surface becomes more even. Sand in one steady direction so the surface does not become too uneven. Use pliers to break off the excess burrs. Now begin adjusting the key teeth. Place the new key parallel to the old key to compare each position. Shape the teeth according to the original pattern. Compare each tooth with the original sample. Adjust every small detail. This is the step that decides success or failure. The lock only turns when the teeth push the parts inside into the correct position. Now it is time for the final test. Insert the key into the lock. Push it all the way in. Turn it slowly and the lock opens. And finally it worked. I have made a key that can open this lock. Of course, this should only be used as an experiment or a temporary fix for your own lock, not for places that require high security. What do you think of this trick? If you have any more interesting DIY challenges, leave a comment so I can try them in the next video. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe so you do not miss the next videos.